You've heard the phrase, live life king size. But after learning about Qatar's most influential royal woman, it's clear there's an entirely different tier, queen-size living. With an estimated personal fortune often cited around $15 billion, and access to one of the wealthiest royal families on earth, Sheikha Moza bint Nasser is far more than a symbol of luxury. She is a strategist, reformer, philanthropist, and cultural icon, someone who combines couture with policy and power with purpose. This is not the story of a ceremonial royal. This is the story of a woman who quietly helped reshape a nation. From exile to the center of power. Sheikha Moza was born in 1959 in Qatar, but her early life was anything but sheltered palace living. Her father, Sheikh Nasser bin Abdullah al-Misned, was a political dissident which forced the family into exile in Egypt and Kuwait. Those formative years outside Qatar gave her a rare perspective, one shaped by displacement, education, and resilience. At just 18 years old, she returned to Qatar and married Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, who would later become emir. As his second wife, she did not step into an easy role. Royal politics is not known for being forgiving. Yet over time, she emerged not only as the most visible face of the royal family, but as one of its most influential figures. Among her 7 children is the current emir, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, placing her at the very heart of Qatar's ruling structure. An education that matches the ambition. Power without intellect is fragile. Sheikha Moza made sure hers wasn't. She earned a degree in sociology from Qatar University, followed by a master's in public policy and Islam from Hamad bin Khalifa University. Later came a doctorate in humane letters from Virginia Commonwealth University, along with a shelf full of honorary doctorates from institutions like Georgetown, Imperial College London, Carnegie Mellon, and Texas A&M. In short, she didn't just marry into influence, she studied for it. This academic foundation would become critical in shaping her life's work, especially in education reform and social development, the architect behind Qatar's knowledge economy. If there is one institution that defines Sheikha Moza's legacy, it is the Qatar Foundation, established in 1995. Its mission was ambitious: transform Qatar from a resource-dependent state into a knowledge-based economy. The crown jewel of this vision is Education City, a sprawling academic hub in Doha that hosts branch campuses of elite universities from around the world. Instead of sending Qatari students abroad, she brought the world's top institutions to Qatar, complete with cutting-edge research facilities and global faculty. The result? Qatar positioned itself as an educational powerhouse in the Middle East, attracting scholars, researchers, and innovators on a global scale. And no, this wasn't just philanthropy for prestige. It was long-term nation-building. Healthcare, science, and a $7.9 billion statement. Education was only part of the plan. Healthcare came next, and it came big. Sheikha Moza played a central role in the development of Sidra Medicine, a women's and children's hospital in Doha funded at an eye-watering $7.9 billion. Designed to be among the most advanced medical facilities in the world, Sidra focuses on pediatric and maternal care, research, and training. She also oversaw reforms as vice chair of Qatar's Supreme Council of Health, helping modernize the national healthcare system. The message was clear: wealth is meaningless if it doesn't translate into quality of life. Education above all. In 2012, Sheikha Moza launched the Education Above All Foundation, based on a belief that sounds simple, yet challenges entire global systems. Quality education is not a privilege, it is a right. At a time when millions of children were being pushed out of classrooms by war, poverty, and displacement, Education Above All was designed to go where traditional aid often fails. Instead of short-term solutions, the foundation focused on rebuilding education ecosystems from the ground up. Today, Education Above All operates in more than 55 countries, working alongside governments, NGOs, UNICEF, and UNESCO to reach children living in the world's most fragile environments. These are places where schools are destroyed first, teachers are displaced, and education becomes an afterthought in survival. Through targeted programs, Education Above All has helped millions of out-of-school children enroll in safe, structured learning environments, often restoring hope where none seemed possible. Her work in global education earned her international recognition, including appointments as a UNESCO Special Envoy for Education and an advocate for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. But perhaps the most telling part of her legacy is not the titles, it's the choice she made. For someone with access to unimaginable luxury, Sheikha Moza chose chalkboards over chandeliers, classrooms over castles, and long-term impact over short-term applause. Championing women and social reform. In regions where women's leadership is often restricted by tradition rather than law, Sheikha Moza emerged as something far more powerful than a rebel, a quiet reformer. She understood that lasting change in deeply rooted societies rarely comes from confrontation. It comes from credibility, patience, and strategy. Rather than challenging tradition head-on, she worked within cultural frameworks to expand women's roles in education, governance, and public life. She consistently advocated for girls' education, women's participation in leadership, and social reform, without ever framing progress as a rejection of identity. The result was subtle, but transformative. Female authority at the highest levels became normalized, not controversial. Beyond advocacy, she founded and led organizations focused on youth employment, family welfare, and social development across the Arab world. These initiatives addressed unemployment, inequality, and generational stagnation, issues that quietly determine a region's future. Her influence proved that power does not always need a loud voice. Sometimes it needs consistency, credibility, and the patience to outlast resistance. Disability rights and inclusion. One of the most personal and impactful aspects of Sheikha Moza's work lies in her advocacy for people with disabilities. Long before inclusion became a global buzzword, she recognized that disability was often misunderstood, not as a social responsibility, but as a limitation. She set out to change that narrative. She founded the Al-Shafala Center, dedicated to supporting children with special needs through education, rehabilitation, and social integration. The center focuses not only on care, but on capability, helping young people develop independence, confidence, and a place within society. In her speeches, Sheikha Moza repeatedly challenged societies to rethink disability itself, arguing that the greatest barriers are often social and structural, not physical. She emphasized dignity, opportunity, and the economic value of empowering people with diverse abilities. This wasn't symbolic advocacy, it was backed by funding, institutions, policy influence, and long-term commitment. Not slogans, not ceremonies, real systems designed to last. Fashion, power, and the art of the turban. Now, let's address what the world can't stop talking about: style. Sheikha Moza is widely regarded as one of the most fashionable royal figures on the planet. Vanity Fair named her among the most stylish women in the world, and her signature turbans have become instantly recognizable, elegant, commanding, and unmistakably hers. But her fashion choices go far beyond aesthetics. She redefined royal style by customizing haute couture to align with Qatari modesty, blending tradition with modern sophistication. Her wardrobe features Chanel, Dior, Valentino, Jean-Paul Gaultier, and bespoke couture, paired with iconic jewelry from Cartier, Harry Winston, and Van Cleef & Arpels. Importantly, she also treats fashion as economic influence. By supporting regional designers and co-founding initiatives like Fashion Trust Arabia, she uses luxury as a platform to elevate Middle Eastern creativity onto the global stage. When Sheikha Moza buys fashion, she doesn't just wear it, she legitimizes it. real estate, retail, and billion-dollar assets. Luxury living, of course, is part of the equation. Sheikha Moza owns some of the most expensive real estate in London, including multi-million-dollar mansions near Regent's Park. The Qatari royal family has also made landmark investments in global assets, from luxury retail to infrastructure. These purchases aren't just indulgences, they're strategic placements of capital in stable, high-profile markets. When the royal family buys, they buy permanently. A queen in every sense. At 63, Sheikha Moza remains a commanding presence, graceful, influential, and unapologetically powerful. She attends state visits, royal weddings, and global summits with equal confidence. Whether she's discussing education policy with world leaders or redefining royal fashion, she moves with precision. Her estimated $15 billion personal net worth may grab headlines, but it's her ability to convert wealth into long-term influence that truly defines her legacy. She is not just Qatar's queen in name, she is its architect of modernity. And if this is what living queen size looks like, purpose, power, and polish, then honestly, king size just feels a little small. Sheikha Moza's story proves that true power isn't just about wealth or status, it's about what you build with it and who benefits long after you're gone. If you enjoyed this deep dive into influence, fashion, and global impact, make sure to like and subscribe for more stories that go beyond headlines and into real legacy. And tell us in the comments, which part of her journey impressed you most? Like and subscribe.